And just like that, we are back. We are back. We are back. Welcome everybody to another episode of My Soul DNA. I am your host Ryan, and today I got a friend of mine. His name is Alex. Alex, introduce yourself, man.
What's up, man? Ryan, thanks for having me. Super excited. Uh, from when I saw that you were doing a shoot pod or vlogcast, I should say, I was always like, hey, man, let me get on. So
Max,
super appreciative of the opportunity to get on here and excited to talk shoes, talk sneakers, talk culture, talk everything.
you already know it. So for everybody who has been tuning in, My Soul DNA is literally just a platform. I like to get on, speak with different people. I want to know what got them into the sneaker culture. I want to know some of their favorite sneakers, maybe some of their stories, um, highlights, lowlights. I want to know it all. So without further ado, let's get right to it, man. Alex, what got you into collecting from jump?
Man, just music really. Early on was super big into rap and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Uh and I mean, honestly, for me it was uh I got really big into like G Unit and stuff like that. And
Yep.
when 50 came out with his line and stuff, I mean, that was the first sneaker I bought. Technically not me, my mom bought them for me. Um, you know, because I was like 8 or 9 when they came out, but got the first, like, it was an all white pair of the GXTs, and had the G Unit in silver lettering down at the bottom. Um, I begged my mom to buy them for me, but she already knew what was going to happen. Any shoes that I got back then were just strictly used to play soccer in, even though
Facts.
they weren't supposed to be. Um, and she bought them for me because it was right around the time of Thanksgiving that they were coming out. And she said, "All right, I'll buy them for you, but these are going to be your Thanksgiving dinner shoes. Like, you can't wear them till then. It was a couple weeks." And my dad took me to my cousin's house probably the weekend before, and I had to flex before Thanksgiving,
You already
and
know it.
threw them on and met and got a big old scuff on them, and it was over. Couldn't even wear them from Thanksgiving. My mom got so mad. But that's what pretty much got me into it. Is just the culture, really what we now consider the culture. Back then it was just music and stuff. But yeah, I'd probably say, long-winded story short, 50 Cent.
That's probably going to be pretty rare that somebody says 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
that's dope,
because
right? That I mean,
yeah,
everybody has their own different thing that got them into it, and it's crazy that even back then, now music is like you said, the culture, like everything kind of derives
yeah.
from music, hip hop music especially. But you know, to have an actual it was just rapper sneaker line that got me into it. That's pretty dope.
Which, yeah, which is also kind of crazy because obviously now everyone has sneaker collabs,
Yeah.
Travis, Drake, everyone. But back then it was super rare. It was maybe, Jay-Z
Yep.
with the
Reebok.
with the S lines on Reebok, but I mean 50 Cent was on Reebok too with G Unit.
Yep.
So I mean, realistically, it wasn't a whole lot of, it wasn't as it wasn't as common back then as it is now, where it's like, oh yeah, I started getting into sneakers because I'm a huge Travis Scott fan, or I started getting into
Yeah.
sneakers because I'm a huge Drake fan.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't as a thing back then. Back then it was like family members, or maybe you were just into like basketball or sports and stuff, that you're like, all right, well, this is why I like sneakers. Music, I feel like it wasn't as predominant, when I was growing up, to like some, to get into shoes because of a rapper. Is
Yeah,
that
it
a hot
wasn't.
take? I feel like,
It wasn't. I mean, you got um like you said, now it's kind of like collabs, right? It's like Nike's doing a collab with Travis, or it's Nike's doing a collab with Drake. Before it was like, nah, Reebok is not a, it's not necessarily a collab. This is like Jay-Z's Reebok sneaker. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
his
Like
line.
Travis
Yeah,
Scott doesn't have a Nike sneaker. He has a
yeah,
collab with Nike on an Air Max One or on a Jordan 6 or
yeah,
whatever it might be. So
yeah.
but yeah, that's dope, man. Never really thought about some people probably did look at 50, like you, and
Yeah.
did the G unit. So the sneakers that you have now, about how many would you say that you own?
I mean, in total, probably like 50-ish.
Okay.
And that was a huge drop. I moved, as you know, I moved to Chicago
Yep.
2 years ago. And definitely sold a lot to a local sneaker shop,
Mm.
just because I wanted to get a little bit of money, to have that little bounce while I was out there. But I just didn't want to look. I mean, at that time it was maybe, closer to 100, 150 shoes that I had.
So out of the 50 pair that you're at now, or even going back to all the shoes that you've had, if you had to say what was the most you paid for a pair of sneakers and what's the least you paid for a pair of sneakers, and what were those shoes?
So individually, uh, I don't think I've ever paid more than like $600. Like, yeah. And that was to re-up. That was before the bounce that they just had. But I paid, I think it was $600 for so I can double up on a pair of the Union 4 Noirs.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
that's that's one of my top shoes, really. But yeah, that's pretty much what I paid. And then as a total, and I actually lucked out on this. I've had a friend or someone that I knew through like sneaker groups and stuff like that
Yeah.
that was selling. He sold Chicago. It was a Chicago, the Breads, and Shadow ones. And he had them listed, all of them, for $1,600. So I bought them. They were my size. They were 11 and a half. I wear a 12, but I like 11 and a half in the ones.
Yeah.
I think they fit a little bit better. And was going to use them to just to hold on to, just as personals, because I feel like $1,600 for those three was, a fair price. And then The Last Dance came out, and it was, pretty much all of those when I sold the Chicago's alone for like $1,300. So yeah, so it was and I still have the Shadows, still have the the
Bread.
Breads,
Okay.
just chilling on those. But those, I mean, those are, I mean, the Breads alone are going for about a band right now. So
Yeah.
uh I made out pretty nicely on that. So individually, $600. In a group kind of bundle, 1,600.
Ooh. So the like 1,300 you sold the Chicago's for, is that the most you sold a pair of kicks for?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much they're all up there. I've had my fair share. I've been lucky. I've had my fair share to touch some like Heat.
Yeah.
Sold Sean Witherspoon's for about a stack. Sold,
Ooh.
sold sold what else? The Supreme Dunks that just came out last year. I offloaded those quick because I knew they weren't going to do so well. I got the black pair, sold those for about 1,000.
When the Chicago's come back out, I have to have them.
They've been rumored to be re-releasing for a couple years now. Apparently, it was supposed to be last year, and then obviously with COVID and everything, they're saying it's next year.
Yeah.
I've had a pair. I've had three pairs that I've have on reserve for those through a very popular like pre-order guy.
Yeah.
So just, I mean, I've had those on pre-order now for about 3 years. So he just
So
has like so I think it was 350, 300 or 400. So he has $1,200 of my money just tied up,
okay.
just waiting for those to drop. And then when they drop, then I'll get them. And obviously, I'll pay. I think I paid 350, so have a pair reserved for $350 because I know those are probably going to go for a lot more right off the bat.
So for everybody that's in the sneakers, everybody knows the term beaters.
Yeah.
What is the beater that you have that you throw on, you kind of kick around in?
Man, my beaters are probably now my the OG colorway of the Wave Runners. They've been everywhere with me. Uh, went on a European trip a couple years ago. They went through Germany, they went through London, they went through Amsterdam, they went through everywhere.
Bruh.
Uh, I mean, pretty much. I mean, those are. I'm never going to throw those away. I think that's. I think that those are along the lines of the Jordan ones and the Vans in the sense of they look better when they're beat.
Yeah.
I think. I think Jordans and Vans obviously it adds a lot more like that flavor to them when you do wear them and when you are kind of rocking them a lot more. I think those are in the same category as that. And I have a couple pairs on ice as well. I can't bring myself to wear them. I always just wear that
Same
one.
pair.
Yeah, it's just that one pair that I have that I'm always wearing. I don't know. It's sentimental. It has to be sentimental value, honestly. That
Facts.
that they traveled everywhere with me. They went through Toronto also. Now that I remember, I mean, they've been all over the world with me.
I want a pair of Wave Runners so bad.
I think if there's a pair that I would be like, because normally I'm like, hey, if you don't want to, I get it. Most people don't want to pay the resale value.
Yeah.
Makes sense too. I think that that's in the like handful of pairs that I would be like, hey, you need to pay the resale value for. They're so worth it. They're comfortable. They're a good. I mean, they're a phenomenal color block. I think they go.
Yeah.
You could wear them with
With
just about
anything.
anything. And they look good, and
Yeah.
you're a dad now, so you need to add that, that dad shoe swagger into the rotation.
Facts.
Yeah.
So, is that pair like if the sneaker guys came to you and were like, whenever you want the shoe, however you want the shoe, is yours. What is that shoe that you can get tomorrow morning?
Honestly, it wouldn't be that pair just because I already have a couple pairs.
Yeah.
A pair the I think that would fall along the lines of kind of like a grail. And for me, it would be it's the Jedi like SB. Um, I That was one of the very first like shoes that I saw that I was like super into.
Yeah.
Like once I started getting into sneakers and everything. And I just it always felt weird to me to get that shoe and not be like a skater. Like it was kind of like a poser thing to do. I thought in my
Hmm.
head to get that shoe and be like, oh, just use it as kind of like something to go along with what you're wearing and stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously now that's not a thing. And I mean now it's pretty unattainable. It's unless if I were to hit the lottery tomorrow. I mean those are going for I think about $2,000 to $3,000 really. I think right now, especially with the dunk and like kind of the spike bubble.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I mean those. I mean last year I looked at them on StockX. They were like or not last year. I think it was 2 years ago. I looked and they were like 500-600 bucks, and I was like, this is a lot, but I really should buy this shoe. And I
Yeah.
just tagged, and now they're Travis wore them kind of like he did with the Newcastles and all that stuff, and now they're two bands. So
Yeah. So everybody has their top five, and I always ask for the top five. So out of the 50 pair that you have now, that's continuously growing, what would you say, or what are those top five sneakers? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of My Soul DNA. Make sure y'all hit that like button and leave me a comment. Hit that subscribe button right here. Check out a couple more of my videos right here. And definitely don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I'm posting and you know when the next video drops.